Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. And after the heavy rains of last night, that has moved on to the northeast, and weather conditions actually are rather quiet. We have a little bit of activity to get through this afternoon, but in terms of the widespread rain, it's over with. And as we look at weather across the country, it's pretty quiet from coast to coast. We've got a few areas that are dealing with red flag warnings and some patchy dense fog. And of course, there's still a few leftover spots that are dealing with some minor flooding issues. But other than that, I think we're in okay shape. Looking at the satellite loop this afternoon, you still can see the rotation of the upper air storm that is now moving eastward. The strong flow of moisture running up from the Atlantic is heading up into northern and eastern New England now as this low starts to gradually shift to the east. And we're waiting for all that dry air that you see back through the Great Lakes and down into parts of the Tennessee and middle Mississippi Valley and lower Mississippi Valley down to the Gulf Coast. That is some of the dry air that should get in here for Saturday, which, by the way, I think is going to be the better of the two weekend days. On the radar this afternoon, still dealing with some scattered shower activity and even one or two thunderstorms that have popped up in the mix. And I think that risk is there for the rest of today and into this evening until the upper low gets out of the way. If you look up toward Maine, that is that steady rain from last night. This is the upper air disturbance that's moving through. And once it goes offshore, then we can see some genuine improvement in weather conditions here going forward. On the surface map for today, and this is for the time frame. This is from this morning at 8 a.m. This is the last surface map that's available from the Weather Service. We literally had a weakening surface low sitting just west of New York City and a redeveloping new low on a cold front that's well offshore. The southerly gradient is still evident in southeastern New England and on up and through parts of Maine. But as we go from here, from us west, we start to see those winds go more northerly, and that is going to eventually play a role in drying things out. Weak high pressure sitting near Chicago, that'll be sliding eastward, and that's going to be our air mass for the weekend. The Storm Prediction Center showing an area of possible thunderstorms this afternoon into this evening with that upper low. It's pretty much a no-brainer. There's not a whole lot of severe weather to worry about today. A couple of areas of marginal risk, one in West Texas and the other one in parts of Colorado, Nebraska, and Wyoming. Then as we move on to Saturday, really very little activity going on. Small area of marginal risk being indicated in parts of Colorado. And then on Sunday, we're seeing no severe weather risk being indicated, just a risk of general thunderstorms from the plains and the northern Rockies down to the middle Mississippi Valley and toward the mid-Atlantic coast. That really is about it. So we're going to be in good shape from that respect. And with regards to where our weather is going to be this weekend, we're going to take a look at the latest GFS model, and we'll see how it handles things with regards to our weather. And of course, going ahead with the storm system in Maine and the heavy thunderstorms and showers well offshore, the leftover showers that are overhead this afternoon, and then the drier conditions out to the west. That pulls out, I think, the system that's over the northern Great Lakes really doesn't do very much here during the day Saturday, other than perhaps produce some high clouds that could come into the mix later in the day. But most of tomorrow, I think, should be fine. It'll be a little breezy into the early afternoon, and then the winds will settle down a bit and go more southwesterly. We have a weak weather front that's coming through Saturday night into early Sunday morning with a couple of showers being indicated. And then after that, uh, that front is going to kind of hang around a bit. It's waiting for another wave to go by, so perhaps we could see some showers and maybe one or two thunderstorms pop up late in the day, Monday or Monday night. You see, most of them are south of and west of New York City, but we're going to keep an eye on this to see how it evolves. Definitely Saturday will be the better of the two weekend days, in my opinion. And then as we move into next week, we're still in a cool pattern and a relatively busy one. So while we should be okay on Monday with clouds, some sun, and a gusty breeze from the northwest, it is going to be cool. It should be dry and cool on Tuesday. And then we've got this next low up in Wisconsin. Will probably start to redevelop somewhere, say in northern Virginia, an area of rain, a chilly rain that'll be moving through the northeast and northern mid Atlantic states come Tuesday night into Wednesday, and then that low eventually redevelops offshore and moves away to the northeast, and we're back to cooler and drier for the second half of next week. So there's really no major change in the weather pattern going forward. With respect to high temperatures for this afternoon, we're going to be in the 60s. Some places that get some breaks of sun in the mix could be a bit higher. Some that stay more overcast might be a little bit lower, but it looks like we should finish off in the 60s just about everywhere. And with a fair amount of sun tomorrow, I think we could see highs reach the upper 60s and low 70s in many locations. We may actually outperform these numbers. Sunday, into the 70s, depending on how much sun. Again, we'll also have to watch for the possibility of not only some clouds, but whether there might be a few scattered showers around. Then it's going to turn cooler on Monday. We'll be in the 60s, and cooler still on Tuesday, with most highs on Tuesday in the mid 50s to lower 60s. As I said, the general trend here is that the cool pattern is going to continue. That doesn't mean that it can't get warm. It doesn't mean that we can't reflexively go to 70 on the odd day, and we're going to probably see it maybe tomorrow, maybe even again on Sunday. But in terms of being in the 70s on a regular basis almost every day, that is not happening anytime soon. All right, folks, have a great afternoon. We will update the weather app shortly, and we might have a Joe and Joe show tonight. We usually don't do it on Friday nights, but maybe we'll do one tonight. We'll see. So look for a heads up later today. That's on my YouTube channel, Joe Cioffi. And of course, download the free weather app, the Meteorologist Joe Cioffi weather app, which is what it's called. And you can download that on Google Play or on the App Store, and it's free.